right, you have come upon the Rocker Dog Podcast, the show that talks to people in and around music about their dogs. I'm your host, Tim Dill, and this week my dog Charlie and I welcome to the show Melody Margarit of Epitaph Records, which is home to such artists as Rancid, Distortion and Bad Religion. Melody is also a board member at MaeDay Rescue, who will be hosting their Pause for Comedy fundraiser this weekend, August 2nd, at Creature Comforts Brewery in LA. And these are her apartment-sized rocker dogs.
Yes, Sampson and Scout. Sampson is about 11. They're both rescues. Scout is about 9.
Okay. Well, ironically, I saw in your post that you both got them when they were about 3 years old.
Yes. Yeah.
Do you know their backstories?
Sampson was on the street and he has separation anxiety, so that he was on the street maybe for a month. And then Scout, I think, was an owner surrender, and the rescue ended up I think they got tipped off that he was about to be surrendered. So they kind of showed up outside of the shelter and were like, "Can we find him a home so that he doesn't go into the shelter?" So, yeah.
Oh, great. And if you go back to that time, I guess Sampson is about 8 years ago. What was going on in your life at the time? Why did you get a dog at that time of your life?
I grew up with dogs. We always had bigger dogs. Mine are small. They're small to medium size. But I've always loved dogs. Growing up there, we lived in a house and they were always outdoor. And I was always trying to sneak them into the house with lunch meat. And my mom would catch me trying to lure them upstairs because I was just I don't understand. Why are they out? It doesn't make sense. We had a huge yard and all of that, but still I could never at this point in my life. But I always wanted a dog. I would always dog sit for friends and family and stuff. And I just finally felt financially I was in a good position to get one. So I had a roommate, and then she moved out, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna get a dog. Now's the time. So yeah.
And then how about bringing Scout into the mix? Was that just giving company to Sampson, or was that more just a happenstance?
My partner at the time and we got Scout together. Him and I were like, oh, we should foster, because maybe Sampson, like I mentioned, he had a little bit of separation anxiety. So we thought it would be, good for him, but also there were 2 of us. So there'd be 2 dogs, and we thought it was good. And we ended up getting Scout. And then I guess maybe a year later or 6 months later, that relationship ended. But I had the apartment and the other dog, and it it kind of just made sense that he stayed with me. So, but yeah, him and Sampson are best friends. So it worked out well. Yeah. I never thought I'd have 2 dogs by myself, but here we are.
Well, Sampson, you described as your soul dog, that you were meant to find each other.
Yeah. It's funny because I realized, especially because I have 2 dogs, I love Scout with every bone in my body. I love him so much. But I've talked to a lot of friends, and especially with my volunteer work with MaeDay and stuff, I've talked to people, dog owners and things like that. And everyone kind of says that some people call it their love dog. I refer to him as my soul dog, but I just feel Sampson and I are so similar. First of all, I used to be extremely allergic to dogs. He is allergic to human dander. I'm not even kidding. We had it tested and got it confirmed. Also kind of anxious. I more so when I got him, I was, but less so now, but just very similar. He can be very sassy. He's very lovely and wants to love on me and cuddle and whatever, but also he can be very I'm going over here, I do my own thing. Just very similar. And I don't know, there's just something about him that I just can't imagine my life without him. He's the best.
To your point, you described him as the most codependent, independent dog.
He truly is. It's so funny because Scout is the second you sit down on the couch, or God forbid you lay down on the couch, you live on the couch now. He's right here. Hope you don't need your phone or a glass of water or anything, turn the lights off, nothing, because he's right here. He's very cuddly, which is great. Sampson is he's the opposite. He likes to cuddle when he likes to cuddle, you know? So
on his terms.
So I kind of learned that. So that is really why him and Scout balance each other out so well, because, Scout's the dog when people come over. everyone's like, oh, he's so cuddly and kissy. And then, and then Sampson will kind of come over and be like, okay, you can pet me now.
Well, let's get a little bit into your fostering. From what I understand, and again, my information is all social media,
Of course, yeah.
but there was a mention of a first foster back in 2019. That was Buster Brown.
Yes, Buster Brown, yeah, little Italian greyhound. And he was a senior. He was older and definitely very anxious, as Italian greyhounds tend to be at
Yeah.
times. But we found the best home for him ever. And the plan was to continue fostering. And then a friend of mine saw a post about Scout. Then we ended up adopting Scout. So my foster career was short-lived. And then I found a litter of puppies January of last year, 2024. My neighbor had a house sitter who, like, their dog had a ton of puppies. And because he was house sitting, he did not bring the puppies inside. And so when I discovered they were all in the yard, and it was like a week where it was 40 degrees at night in LA, which by LA standards is not good. And they were all out there and, just it not in good shape. So I ended up finding them. It took an hour. I thought they were abandoned. And then he came out and was like, what's going on? And we were all out there for like an hour, like, hello. And I had already contacted a rescue, which ended up being MaeDay Rescue. And Natalie Garcia owns MaeDay Rescue. And I had spoken to her wife, and I'd met them a few times in passing and followed them on Instagram. And then it ended up that one of the neighbors that was there when the whole puppy situation happened was like, I have a contact for a rescue. We should call them. And it ended up being Natalie. And that's how long story short, she basically said, we can back the dogs. We can pay, for them. They obviously need vet care and things like that and shots and all that. So we can back them. But I already have 2 litters of puppies like in the rescue being fostered. So you have to foster them. And I was like,
God.
Okay, fine. So it was me, my 2 dogs in my apartment, and 4 little puppies. And I also was dog sitting for my sister for her dog, for her corgi. So it was chaos, but that started my rescue career again.
That's crazy. How is it? How is it with the puppies? I mean, one puppy's hard.
It was, and also, as you mentioned, both my dogs are 3 when I got them. I deliberately didn't get a puppy just because at that point in my life, it was a lot. And the best way to describe it to people is if someone at that point in my life had said, hey, next week, can you take 4 puppies and watch them for what ended up being like 6 weeks? I would have been like, no, I can't do that. That's crazy. But it was like a fight or flight thing.
How did you go to work with
I
6 dogs at home?
I am very fortunate that my boss and the company I work for are very understanding, and they love dogs. And so for COVID, we were home for like 2.5 years, and now we're hybrid. So we go in 2 days a week.
Okay.
So I was able to just stay home for those 6 weeks, and they understood why. And then I just went back to work as soon as the last one got adopted. But yeah, I wouldn't have been it wouldn't have been responsible for me to leave for sure.
Yeah.
So I'm very fortunate.
So you were exposed to MaeDay. They came in and helped you. When was it that you decided to volunteer with them?
Yeah, so I think it was like the second adoption event we had with the pups, and Natalie was like, oh, someone asked me who you were because they've seen you around a lot lately. And I told them, oh, she's our new foster. And I was like, what? And she's like, well, you're going to keep fostering for us after this. And I was like, all right. It was just kind of the right, there was a lot going on in my life at the time. And I think it all just like fell in place at the perfect time. So.
And now you're part of the board as well.
I am. Yeah. The puppy thing happened January of last year. And then in the fall, they asked me to join the board. Just so many great people, and a lot of us work in entertainment too, which is cool. We can commiserate, and it's just, I've made so many cool friends and just met so many awesome, even our fosters. We have a lot of fosters, and they're all just great and dog people,
Now, I volunteered at the shelter, so I know our struggles there. But as a rescue, what are you tackling? Like, what are your big problems month to month?
This year, it's been uniquely challenging because of the fires that we just faced at the beginning of the year. And average amount of dogs MaeDay has at a time is usually prior to this year was like maybe 10 to 12 or so, like at any given time. And as soon as one gets adopted, we'll send another foster out to go swoop another one up. And we try to, rotate them out and make space as much as we can and save as many dogs as we can. And when the fires happened, we got a significant amount of people that just wanted to foster. And also Natalie was working behind the scenes with families that wanted to hold on to their dogs, but they knew they were going to be displaced for a while.
Right.
And,
Yep.
some people, we had 2 bonded labs that we had to find a new home for, and the people were heartbroken, but they were like, we can't do this to them. They deserve, so we were able to set them up with a new family, and they know each other, and so they found a new home. But there was probably maybe 5 or 6 families where we just got temporary fosters for them while they were in the middle of probably staying in a rental before they could rebuild, and people are still going through that process. So the fires now, we have, oh gosh, the last time I counted, the average was like maybe 20 to 25 dogs at a time.
Okay.
Yeah, so we have significantly more because we have more people willing to foster now. So
Yeah, that's great. Well, let's talk about this great event, MaeDay Pause for Comedy, which will
yes.
be August 2nd.
Yeah, so we're gonna have it downtown LA at Creature Comforts Brewery. And we do a lot of little adoption events here and there where, like, if you go, down to Creature Comforts, they'll donate $1 from every beer purchase and things like that. But this is a very big event, and we're selling tickets for it. I believe up until the end of the day, they're 150, they go up to $200. But it's going to include open bar, lots of food. We're going to have Moby's going to DJ. We're going to have Jackie Tone as the host. Nikki Glazer, comedian, Golden Globes host. She's going to be there. We're going to have a lot of comedians, a lot of celebrities, flash tattoos, which are for purchase, but a percentage goes to the rescue. Permanent jewelry like bracelets. Just so much stuff. It's going to be really fun. A photo booth. We actually were able to get the same photo booth company that does the photo booth for all the Epitaph holiday parties is
Oh, very
donating a
cool.
booth for the event. So yeah, it's going to be a very big event. It's going to be really fun, dress to impress. And yeah, we're going to raise hopefully a lot of money for the dogs because that will help us to save more and more. So
That's awesome. That's awesome. I wish I could come.
I know.
I'll have to
Maybe come to LA
I'll look
on the
at Spirit flights, see if I can get a cheap flight. Well, I wind down every show with what I call the Zoomies, and that's 5
Okay.
fast, frivolous questions. The first question I keep switching up. I don't know which one to ask, but I'll go with the newer one, and that is: do Sampson and Scout follow you to the bathroom?
Uh, yes, especially Scout. Scout always does. He comes in, he needs me to pet him, and then he turns around and runs back out. And Samson, yeah, sometimes he'll just poke his head in, or if I'm in there like doing my makeup or something, and I'm in there for a while, he'll poke his head in and just okay, just making sure.
All right. Question 2: do either of them have a theme song? If they come walking in the room, what should be playing?
I have songs I've made up, like I think most dog owners, or songs that I've changed lyrics to, and
Yeah,
I can't really off the top of my head. It's hard to think of what they are, but just like names, I have like 85 names for them. It's absurd, but yeah, I definitely sing to them all the time.
okay. Question 3, this will be hypothetical, and we'll say, if one of your artists decides to take your dogs on the road, what would they want on the tour rider?
Oh, obviously treats, a lot of treats. Scout is very, very food motivated. So if you want him to do anything, treats should be involved. Or if you want him to listen to you, I should say. A comfy bed. Scout likes having he has like a really soft blanket. I tuck him in at night, as he
Nice.
sleeps in his bed. Samson sleeps usually up next to me. And yeah, toys. Samson loves toys. Squeaker toys for sure.
Okay. All right. All right. Okay. Question 4 is: do you have a dog voice?
Yes. Of course. Absolutely.
Do you care to demonstrate it?
Sure. So I call Samson, one of his million nicknames is, I call him Bub, Baby Bub, Bubs, Bubba, Little Bub, or Scout. I sing to him. I call him Little or Little Little. So I'll do, Little Little, call him Little Little. Yeah, that's, that's what happens here.
Okay. Question 5, I know the answer. The question 5 is if there's a dog service or an organization you'd like to shout out. I'm sure that's MaeDay that you put in
It
so much
is
work
actually,
for.
yes. I was gonna make a joke that it's not, but yes, of course,
Okay.
MaeDay. Yeah, I love MaeDay. Yeah, it's MaeDay, MaeDay Rescue in Los Angeles. And yeah, it's a wonderful organization. And I feel really fortunate that I get to volunteer with them. And especially my job is very supportive of it too, which I'm very lucky.
That's great. That's great. I
Yeah.
actually have a guest who I've recorded already, and they picked MaeDay.
Oh,
And then I've
cool.
got a guest that I've booked already, haven't spoke to, but I was informed that they used Mayday dogs in a music video, but
I
it's
bet I
in the
know
making.
who it is because I think I
So
was at the shoe.
I'll ask you off camera. I don't want to
Yeah,
I don't
that's
want to give
very
away any
cool.
surprises.
Very cool. I love that.
But while we're on Epitaph, I just want to ask you one last question. Who are the dog artists? Who can you point to
Oh,
on your
wow.
roster and be like,
Honestly, it's funny. One of the best things about being at the office when a band comes through, a lot of times they're on tour and they stop in for a lunch or a meeting or something like that. And they're, in the middle of being on the road for months at a time. And I can remember distinctly our band Drain came through and, they were in the middle of tour and they're tired and, they just come through. They're like, oh, hey. And then I had Keith, which was one of my fosters. He was a pup and he's like this little white, just cute little pup. And they lost their minds and they were like carrying him around the building and they were like, can we take him on tour? And I was like, like probably not. But yeah, I got like a cool photo with them. Nico Case is super obsessed with dogs, and also Mike Ness of Social Distortion. He advocates for dogs, which is so cool. He's a big Chihuahua guy, which is cool. And I distinctly remember one of my old colleagues had a really small, feisty, fat little Chihuahua named Shredder that we were all obsessed with. Another colleague found Shredder and we begged him to adopt Shredder so that we could hang out with him at the office. And I remember like Fletcher from Pennywise one day, who's a big guy, coming through carrying Shredder around this tiny little Chihuahua. And it was like the cutest thing. So I would say we have a lot of dog lovers.
that's
It's a
great.
great place to be. Yeah. It's definitely fueled my fire for sure.
Love it. Love to hear it. It's funny about Chihuahuas. I've never really had much experience, but through this show, I'm like, I love them. I love them now. I
Yeah,
love seeing them on social media, and it's like I'd love to have one compliment another dog that down the line.
totally. It's funny because especially, the first thing people ask at an adoption event for mate is what's the breed, and we normally it's just a guess because we
Yeah,
don't, we rarely ever know. But the joke is always, well, they're definitely part Chihuahua, especially in LA. Like most dogs have even
yeah,
a little bit of Chihuahua in them. And Scout is part Chihuahua. So I agree. Guess I always thought they were just really sassy, which is very true, but
yes, but
I also love them so much.
yeah, that's what makes them great.
Exactly.
Well, Melody, thank you for giving me your time and taking me through Sampson and Scout and all your fosters, and thank you for everything you do with the dog community in LA. And I appreciate you coming on the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. This was really fun.
Carl, you're a damn good dog.